This is my presentation on the FAQ on small businesses by me, Carl Washington. To start off, the artifact that I chose was the artifact talking about and explaining what small businesses actually are. It talks about the ownership that businesses have. It talks about the ownership of people that run small businesses. It talks about their importance in society. It talks about how many firms are small businesses, all things like that. And the reason that I wanted to choose this for me is just because it's so relatable to society, because seeing how many businesses there are that are small and just seeing the world that we live in, where it's a very business-led world, it's a world led where the biggest, well, I mean, all the places we shop from are businesses, right? McDonald's, Amazon, wherever you go to, it's a business. So our society is very, very largely ran by businesses, and it's important to know the background and the actual statistics and data behind these businesses and just the creation of it. And also, it's good to know how to spot things, because we live in a world where a lot of people are entrepreneurs. Social media is a big place that produces and markets a lot of businesses. And this could even be personal for me, where I could maybe want to market it. I could maybe want to create a business one day. It's really key that I know the failures, the successes, the importance I actually have if my business gets big. All that stuff is important to know. So that's why I wanted to choose this article as an artifact. So to summarize the article, it really talks about and explains what small businesses actually are. It also explains how 99.9% of all firms are actually small businesses. And it explains just how many new jobs they create. And to elaborate on that, it also tells you just the impacts on these new jobs and how they're good for the economy. It also talks about the ownership, what percentage of small businesses are ran by women, ran by veterans, ran by immigrants, and it's just so interesting to see these points being made. And it's really just a big kind of general, like, just consensus and explanation of information when it comes to small businesses. So the first point that I wanted to talk about that I feel like really stood out to me was just the role of small businesses. As I said in the last slide, it's there 99.9% of all firms are small businesses, and so many new jobs get created from small businesses. And it's really shocking to see, because I feel like at face value, when you look at the world, you would think something like McDonald's or something like Amazon or some big corporation is responsible for all of the money being produced, when in actuality it's not that at all. And there's actually a lot more small businesses that come together to produce a larger amount of money than these big corporations. And I think that's something that's just very underrated and not necessarily known if you don't do your research. And that's why it really stood out to me, just seeing that 99.9% is a very big number. So the second point when it comes to businesses is the survival rate. I thought it was really crazy just to imagine the fact that while lots of businesses, you create a business and you go out and you put all your time, resources, money, management into it, and you have a high percentage chance, I believe it's 50-ish, to make it past a year, then it just starts going down as the time goes more. There's less than a 30% chance that your business makes it to 5 years. But on the plus side, it is good. If it makes it to 5 years, it's a 60 plus percent chance that it'll make it to 10 plus years. But I just think, for me, it's so intriguing to see, because I see so many people all the time. I know people who create small businesses who are entrepreneurs. I see people all the time on social media who have created small businesses, and it's so popular right now to create a business, right? Entrepreneurs are all over the world, but it's just so enlightening to see the fact that a lot of these small businesses that actually get created are not likely to succeed. It's a very small amount, and even then, is you have to be an exception. There's so many businesses around the world. There's so many ideas that just are already thought of, and it's so interesting to see that statistic. The last point I want to touch on that really stood out to me is artificial intelligence, and this really it automatically sticks out to me because of just the way we're going on in society. Because I wouldn't have thought that it connected to small businesses. You see it in schools all the time. Teachers use it, students use it. You know, when you have when you get a mobile device, not a mobile device, but a technological device, a laptop, and you're in middle school, you most likely have already used ChatGPT in some way, shape, or form. Definitely come into contact with some type of AI. And it's just so interesting to see that so many businesses are starting to use AI for their ideas. And what's even more crazy is that it's only increasing, it's projected to increase. So I just imagine, what's going to be the overall impact on this. It really stands out to me. Like, is this going to be good long term, bad long term? I really see it only being bad because so many people are going to use AI. Ideas are going to start to look the same. People are going to all be using AI to get the same ideas. Like, oh, what's the next big thing? How can I make my stuff different? And AI, it's going to come up with the same stuff. It takes away the human element of critical thinking and creativity and replaces it with a robot. I don't know if that's going to be good for businesses at all, and I just think it's going to be really interesting to see how as the world gets more AI led and dependence, because we're leading towards a state of AI dependency, how that's going to change and alter businesses. So for me, the relevance of this is just it was an influx of knowledge. I really would have never imagined how many immigrants actually work in small businesses. It's over 13%, and especially seeing what's going on right now in the country with immigrants being deported. It's just it's just one of those statistics that stand out to me that I wouldn't have guessed. And not just that, but that's what stands out to me. But just as a whole, the AI being projected, the usage of AI being projected to go up, 99.9% of all firms being small businesses, the amount of jobs small businesses create and how much they're responsible for. All that just really stood out to me, and also the importance, the economical impacts. It Small businesses directly go hand in hand with the economy, how good it is, how bad it is. The small businesses suffer, the economy suffers, and we saw this during COVID. So I just think it's so interesting. Thank you for watching my presentation. These are my references. Have a great day.